I've been wanting to play Assassin's Creed Origins for a long time. I mean, who doesn't love Egypt? Maybe Israel and the various tourists who've been kidnapped and sold, but for the most part it's blue skies, camels and palm trees. The homie and I are riding towards our hometown. We're the protectors of this village. Big Boy proceeds to trample several of the locals. We reach our house and then my friend teaches me, a grown man, how to use a bow and arrow. The controls are surprisingly the same as every other game I've ever played. A group of men arrive to kill us, and so we hide in the long grass like a little Pokemon. I whistle and the guard sneaks over incredibly slowly to investigate, just like someone would in real life. I knock him unconscious. The other guards are really thoughtful and they all split up and turn their backs on me so that I can easily assassinate them. I head into town so that I can immerse myself into the Egyptian culture. There's a few cuties around, but then I see someone being publicly whipped. There's a group of locals watching on in excitement. In a dark time before P-Hub Premium, beggars certainly couldn't be choosers. I receive an optional mission to tear down this statue because it represents greed and suffering, but it is objectively a sophisticated piece of art. Many people like to try and get statues torn down in the real world. I think we just need to band together as a community and get the statue of David destroyed, as I just don't understand how in 1501 Michelangelo got the measurements of my penis. I need to help some of my people. I talk to the blacksmith and his tools have been stolen by a group of soldiers. They're held up in a fortress, but then I remember this is an Assassin's Creed game, not an Egyptian adventure game, so I can just climb vertical cliff faces. I enjoy these type of AC games, but I'm looking forward to Mirage, which is meant to be returning to the franchise's roots. I utilize the brave tactic of firing arrows down onto my opponents from above. I then leap down like I was February the 29th and slaughter this guard. I sneak through the camp, choking more people than a bunch of grapes in a daycare center, and I recover the blacksmith's tools. He's like, "Cheers mate," and gives me a big hammer for my troubles. I can't use it though as I'm not a high enough level. Wow. On my way back to the house, I see some child labour. My heart says it's wrong, but the Air Jordans in my cupboard say I love affordable footwear. Today's video sponsor is Undawn, a free-to-play open-world survival game for mobile and PC. I create my avatar making sure he's the thickest of men, and then ride over to a settlement. I'm greeted by a plethora of characters, each one cuter than the last. I'm taught some of the basics of survival, taking hot baths, sleeping in the fetal position, and of course doing laundry. The zombies will know if you don't separate your whites and colours. Similar way of thinking to my great-grandpa. I then have to protect a settlement from this dodgy cobber, and in the process I save a bunch of puppy dogs, which is wholesome. I reach my homestead, which acts as a completely customizable base that you must upgrade and defend. I put a grill right next to my bed because I'm not allowed to do this at home. I proceed to slaughter some zombies, destroy some sheep, turn my base into the Taj Mahal, and then I link up with some Spanish players so that we can go on a raid together. This is where the top tier loot is and high level rewards. We fight bravely, but I wouldn't say I'm the biggest team player because I kept shooting the big scary zombies and making my squad panic. You must adapt to the changing weather and environmental conditions to ensure you survive while exploring the expansive world while discovering abandoned cities, mines, swamps and deserts. If you're planning to make your own Undawn content, they have a creator program they just launched which will give you some great in-game benefits. Get to level 10 and use my creator code MODEST to get a free Firefly cowboy hat or a black whale baseball cap and 1,000 silver in the game. Thanks to Undawn for sponsoring this video. Flashback to 1 year ago and I'm taking my son and his friend on a hunting trip. I mostly just shoot the birds though because seeing different species of avian creatures makes me insecure. The fact this game doesn't feature the great white pelicans of the African region is arguably game breaking. I tell my son's friend to go home by himself, which is a pretty bad duty of care as it's not exactly safe. We hunt the ibex and then I try and peer pressure my boy into jumping into a lake. He refuses to. Obviously he's never seen me leap into a bale of hay from like 200 feet. While we've been bonding, my son's friend was captured by soldiers and I have to save him. Now I don't have kids, not that I know of anyway, so I'm in no position to criticize a father for their parenting style, but I'll let you be the judge. I lose the fight and I'm taken prisoner by the soldiers. They take me into a tomb for questioning, and who comes to my aid but my son? He steals a knife, cuts me free, and then I begin attacking my captors. Using my full force, I thrust the knife into a masked man, but I miss and stab my son in the chest. Not exactly a Father of the Year move. A super cool futuristic transition happens and we step out of the Animus and are now a woman. A notification pops up and says we'll now receive 70% of the XP we normally would as a man. It looks like we've set up our base of operations inside a cave. I leave the cave and see that our Jeep has a flat. This is a real conundrum. This is where the peak gameplay is though. I want to change flat tires and live in a cave. The insane gameplay experience doesn't stop here though. You can log onto a laptop and look up documents, like this receipt from a seafood restaurant. The waiter's name was David. I think this franchise would be a lot better if we trimmed away the assassin segments and focused on the real world stuff. We're back to ancient Egypt and we're living a stress-free, kid-free lifestyle. I travel to a fresh town and realize I have a new goal. I must commandeer one of the large military water vessels. As you guys know, I only look up to one kind of person in this world, and that is Somali pirates. The easternmost African people are an inspiration to many. With nothing but small boats, great attitudes, and rusty AK-47s, they steal entire cargo ships. The Somali pirates are my muse. I go to free a line so that it can help me out, but it claws me through the cage. On my second attempt, I'm stacked out by 2 range pewers, and on my third attempt, I accidentally light myself on fire. It becomes clear that I need to level up. I head back to the temple and notice a cat. I figure as cats are sacred, they're probably immune to arrows, but I'm immediately proven wrong. And killing a cat in ancient Egypt is like calling someone champ in Australia. Utterly disgusting and sacrilegious. This priest wants me to play hide and go seek with some kids. This fun little game will level me up so I can kill people, don't question the logic. I find one kid hiding in a well, which is a pretty great hiding spot. I'm surprised my character didn't whip out a blade and stab him though. I find the kids incredibly quickly. I'm better at finding kids than a Catholic priest holding a heartbeat sensor and a bag of gummy snakes. I level up, cool, wow. My next mission is incredibly immersive. A group of soldiers are making fake religious icons and selling them to tourists. Fun fact, selling fake artifacts to tourists made up 99.9% of Egypt's GDP in 2022. I speak to a few of the vendors and they're livid, so I promise to sort the situation out. I reach the big camp and there is a guard standing watch on top of a sand dune. I sneak up behind the big girl and slit his throat, except just kidding, I'm not a high enough level, so his throat is perfectly fine, just like in real life. This reminds me of those games that have the leveling system where you can unload an entire clip into an enemy's head and they don't die because you're level 8 and they're level 9. Extremely immersive. I do some more Pokemon assassinating and destroy the fake artifacts. At last, the tourists of Egypt will have authentic little toy pyramids. Thank Christ, or whatever, cat god. I continue running errands for the good people of Sand Palm Tree Town. One of the priests got on the sauce and passed out at the local tavern, and now I have to carry him back to the temple. With the continued legalization of marijuana around the world, I wonder if priests will start blazing up soon. I researched it, and yes, they would definitely be allowed to, so pretty soon Sunday service could be turning into a holy hotbox. My next job is to fight this champion. He's a 7-foot tall big boy with a horned helmet and will surely be a challenge. Just kidding, we're the same level, and that's literally all that matters in this game, so I kill him with ease. With my stats now raised, I set sail once again on my journey of becoming a Somali pirate. I board the vessel and begin firing arrows at the cages to set the lions free. I leap down from the top of the mast, executing a sick assassination while simultaneously destroying the cartilage in my knees. With the support of my lion friends, I take the boat and achieve my goal. Renowned Somali pirate Abdulwali Abdullah Dakar would be so proud of me right now. I wonder if he's subscribed to my channel. Almost definitely. I get straight back to completing missions. I feel like I've been chatting too much shit about this game. It's actually good fun, I just like to point out its flaws. It's like when you're dating someone. Make a habit of pointing out their faults and insecurities regularly so they can constantly grow. I talk to this depressing lass and she says her father was murdered and wants me to take a book to the morgue so that he can be buried with it. Everyone around here is mourning. I killed my own son, you don't see me crying about it. I decide to help her fix the feng shui of her home by clearing out the bad energy. I find her dad and he's honestly in great shape. Cute little nappy too, what a fit. I give him the book and complete the hardest mission I've ever tackled. I put my skill points into fire bombs and test them out on some of the locals. They begin burning and then drop a synchronized gritty. I didn't know Egyptians were chill like that. My next mission involves more corpses. A family has been butchered and then had salt poured on them, which seems awfully wasteful. The daughter survived the attack and she's currently hiding at their farmhouse. Being the great guy I am, I offer to help out. I actually am a pretty great guy. I've been in a relationship for a while now, so whenever I do go out drinking, I'm the wingman. I've helped my friends get laid so many times, or 3 times. So there's one time my mate's fresh out of a relationship and he's got no confidence, we've all been there. I finally get him talking to this girl and he likes her, but she's got a friend who was, and I don't say this lightly, the worst human I've ever met in my life. She kept talking about how all men were evil and how much she despised the entire gender. I felt like I was under attack. It didn't help that I was wearing a shirt that said, "Men are smarter than women." No, I'm kidding, of course I was just wearing a normal shirt. She was just assaulting me. It was like verbal D-Day. I was dodging questions and constantly trying to curve the conversation to be more positive. She must have mentioned she was single at least 60 times, so as we were leaving I said, as a little joke, "Your boyfriend must be so worried about you." She didn't say a word, she just looked into my eyes like they were the windows to my soul with such hatred I felt a little nauseous. My mate ended up getting laid, but I got f***ed too, psychologically. Like the video if you want me to wingman for you and I'll fly out. I save the farm girl and prepare to assassinate the man behind it all. I majestically jump from the rooftop and eliminate the target. As I leave the area, I realize none of the guards were facing the right direction and don't suspect it was me. As they search the area for the culprit, they can either choose between the woman sitting on carrots, the man selling mangoes, or the guy in the mysterious hood carrying 15 different weapons. An impossible mystery. I go and meet my friend at the library, and he tells me that there's a surprise waiting for me at the bottom of the well. This is music to my ears, as usually at the bottom of wells there's either fresh water or children hiding that I can potentially stab. Win-win. This dodgy Egyptian walks slightly slower than me, so I have to keep stopping in order to keep the same pace. A cruel joke developers utilize to mess with gamers, the most oppressed demographic globally. I climb the well and honestly quite impressively swan dive into the water below. Down here I find something shocking. My wife. I tell her about our dead son, and then we engage in some marital cutscene relations. That's the beautiful thing about dead children, you can always make more. My next mission is to kill this guy Genadios as he is hunting down my wife. The issue is, I'm nowhere near a high enough level, but do you think Abdulwali Abdul Qadar gave up when he was facing a 1,300-foot freight ship? No, he didn't, and that's why he cemented himself in history as arguably the greatest man of all time. I sneak around Genadios' castle, eliminating his guards. The general rushes me, and it becomes clear that there's no way I can win in close quarters combat. I retreat to the top of a tower and begin peppering my opponents with fire arrows. They're super respectful of invading my space, and they keep a sensible distance. My quiver runs dry, and I'm forced to leap down and finish the job with my hammer. I strike quickly, eliminating him, and begin confirming the kill. A big boy swoops in with his hammer and almost hits me, but I'm saved to a fade to black. I've now uploaded the vlog to my other YouTube channel, just search Papa Peli on YouTube to check it out. If you enjoy it, let me know and I can make more. So I just saw Big Ben, him and the Mandem tried to roll me for my Reeboks, and behind me there's a giant clock. One of the local restaurants is cooling the wine with water from a fountain. It just makes you think, what can't water do? You can cool wine, you can drink it, you can torture people with it. The possibilities are endless. The Stealtho boys and I are overdue for our yearly catch-up, so that could be a good one too. If you enjoyed this video, hit like. I love you.